Well, painting is passion. I was raised in a town in the high Andes called Canima, in the state of Puno in Peru. The town's about 20 kilometers from the Bolivian border. We speak Aymara. It's an Aymara town. My parents still live there in Puno. I have no brothers or sisters. I'm the only child. My parents work in their small farm with their animals. It's a small family business. I went to school in Canima until the 3rd grade and then came to Lima to continue studying. A close relative intended to take me to the United States, but unfortunately due to paperwork problems it didn't happen, so I stayed here in Lima. Going from a small town to a modern district as Miraflores was something strange to me and was also quite shocking. My aunt had a house in Lima, and I stayed there. She used to come to Peru once a year. My parents also came to see me sometimes, but they couldn't stay.
Ella trabajaba todavía en ese tiempo en Estados Unidos y me dejaba solo, toda la casa tenía a mi disposición.
My aunt was working in the US and I was alone in the house. If I had a problem or got sick, a neighbor, a friend of my aunt, would help me. She had the keys to the house. I used to fix breakfast, then go to school, but had lunch at school. Back in the house I used to do my homework, and then I started to paint. The kitchen is the place that reminds me most of those days. I spent most of the time in there. I had my radio and a small dining table where I used to paint. Yes, I started to paint here, in the kitchen, or sometimes here. I started to paint as a hobby, as something to spend my time on instead of going out to play with my friends. This is what I really liked the most, learning how to paint. Painting was my company in this house. I used to draw and paint. It made me feel good to be drawing or painting. At the end of the school year, I used to spend my 3-month summer vacation in Puno, and then return to school. On holidays, I used to go to the park, take walks around Miraflores, visit galleries, which I liked a lot. I think this might have been the reason I started to like painting. I finished school and I applied to Bellas Artes School in 1982. I got the first place and was accepted, but attended for only a short time. At that time, I already painted something, so it was boring for me to take basic lessons, draw cubes, paint in black and white. People said that I was going to starve to death, that there was no future in this. My aunt wanted me to study something different, a career, like medicine. Yeah, a doctor of brushes. I dropped out after the first month. It was too boring. Then I started to think about what to study. I talked to my aunt, and she was the one who supported me, and told her that I was going to attend an academy. I would take architecture, something related to drawing. I was accepted at Ricardo Palma University. I studied there for around a year and a half. At that time, when I was still studying in Ricardo Palma, I had some friends who were selling paintings in the park in Miraflores. One day I visited one of them, and he said, "Villasante, have you stopped painting? I said, no, I'm painting. Then he offered to sell my work. So I took some paintings and they sold. After this, I started to paint more again. Maybe if it hadn't been for this friend who encouraged me to paint and sell my paintings, I might have finished architecture. My friend told me about a contest and suggested I enter it. And I painted, entered the contest and got 2 honors. It was 1984. I started painting more and was selling in the park in Miraflores. In 1985, I entered 2 contests and won both. This made me decide to continue to paint. My friend took me to some painting shows. In 1987, he had a show in Ohio. Another time, he organized a show in Lima in 1991. Then he took me to England, and in one of those fairs, Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales, saw my work and was very impressed. First, I painted directly at Chorrillos Beach, or copied other paintings. At the beginning, I used to be daring, spontaneous. But little by little, I started to do more realistic work because I was looking at paintings of other painters that had good light and architectural themes. I started to search for something else and started to take pictures and go home to paint those themes. I always like to work contrasts in watercolors more than in oil. In oil painting, I use more texture. Watercolor is softer for me. People say I master watercolors, and I want to do oil in the same way, but I like watercolors more. In oil, the brushing is harder and it's not as soft. Watercolor is soft. There is more work. Watercolor is softer. There is more work. In a strong color, dark and light, there is a step. In oil, instead, it is direct. More than my philosophy, I want my technique to be admired. I don't know too much about philosophy. I work the light, the landscape, and with good luck and a bit of daring, make it look like it had been a spontaneous work, not too planned. There's a place in Arequipa where there's a lot of light. There are convents that I have painted many, many times. On occasions, I do my own composition. For example, this is a painting of parts of Arequipa, Zambandia, but I've added other bougainvilleas to give it more color. In general, I do things I'm looking at. I shoot my own photographs. This is one of Santa Catalina. And then I draw and paint with watercolor or oil. This one that I am working on now, it is Zambandia too. I am doing a composition with other bougainvilleas. Real colors, not much fantasy. I adapt to reality. I try to get real colors. I use very few colors. Some of my friends have a selection of around 36 colors. I do my mixes to get the colors. I mostly use siennas and ultramarine blues. When there is a theme I like that I want to paint, I think and dream about it all night. The theme that I like, that impressed me, I work on it until it's finished. I'm always seeking to improve. I search the internet, go through books, looking at paintings. I'm never happy with what I'm doing. This might be a virtue. I'm always taking notes. It takes practice. Practice is all. This is what I came to realize. You find out by yourself what colors to use first, which one's next. I can't be still about my painting. I think I can go further, do more. I'm not happy. What I do could be done by someone else, maybe better. I have to give even more. I'm considering to go back to my hometown in the near future, taking all my material with me, and spend some 6 months to paint directly the landscape, the lake, people, not using photographs. The music we play in my town is called kuri, on the siku, which is an Andean instrument made out of a very thin bamboo. The music was played by my ancestors, and it's been in my mind forever, but I couldn't play it until I learned it here in Lima at the School of Fine Arts. The Spanish word for siku, which is an Aymara word, is zampoña. This is a very sentimental music. It transmits a lot of feeling. Every time I listen to this music, I get emotional. Well, painting is passion.